Hello everyone. After the very painful defeat yesterday, very few people expected Hikaru Nakamura to be in his top shape today. But not only that he was in his top shape, but he actually repeated the line that he played yesterday with the colors reversed, and he did this against no one else but the French Grandmaster Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who is one of the greatest experts of the line in the Najdorf. So we're quickly skipping the opening phase because all these moves we have seen yesterday. We had the bishop g5 Najdorf, we have the poison pawn variation with the inserted h6 and bishop h4 moves. We have the move e3, bishop e7, bishop f2. All of this has been played yesterday, up to the point in which Maxime decided to deviate, obviously fearing Caruana's preparation against Nakamura yesterday. After all, Nakamura said that he didn't make a single move of his own, and he lost this game quite painfully. Obviously, the Frenchman knew about that one, and he was watching the game live yesterday, so he deviated with the move bishop b7. That's relatively rare move, although it's quite a typical one for the Najdorf. And after bishop g2, rook c8 was played. Now, rook c8 is another typical idea for the Najdorf, although in most of the lines this rook goes to b8 followed by b4, and for that reason the bishop doesn't go to b7 that soon. On the other hand, another thing about this bishop is that from c8 it is defending the pawn on e6, and this is something that white can make use of, and which he did in some of the lines as we are going to see in a moment. Since Black can no longer castle short, he is going to get checkmated after h4, and the one to blame for that one is the pawn on h6. It's a very useful hook for the white pieces, and for the white pawns he's going to play g5, trade it, then open up the h-file and checkmate on it with the queen and the rook. Maxime needs to do something, but it's not very obvious what exactly should he do. He already played the move rook c8. Probably on the previous move he should have gone long castle. Maybe this was the way for him to play. But after long castle and h4, white should be also very much the favorite in the situation. The thing is that he can easily advance his pawns and he can still create some threats on the king side, while on the other side it's way more difficult for black to create his usual threats against the opponent's king. And for this reason, the Frenchman went for the move g5. That idea we have seen yesterday. We have also seen in the game of Vachier against Giri from Stavanger, and it's a very typical idea. Black wants to occupy the e5 square for his knight. If, for example, white captures f1 g5, this would be a mistake. Black will recapture, next jump with the knight on e5, and he's going to cover everything in the center. His king is going to be stable, and he's not going to be sorry for not castling. This obviously is not acceptable for white, who goes queen to h3. Creating the threat, the obvious threat of capturing on g5 as the rook is pinned, and preparing for central attack. White normally has two typical plans in this sharp Najdorf. One is the pawn storm that we have already seen with h4 and g5, and the other idea is to try and to open up the center after rook e1 and eventually some sacrifice in the center, typically knight d5, but knight f5 is another thing which we're actually about to see in a moment. Maxime played knight c5, and that's a novelty. Previously some email games saw the move knight h7, and after e5 very sharp battle occurred. I'm not sure if he was familiar with these games, but here besides the move e5, the move f5 also makes perfect sense and looks quite dangerous for black. I'm not sure if this was why he deviated from that, or he just wasn't very familiar with the position, or he just liked it after the move knight to c5. In any case, knight c5 has been played, and Nakamura plays simply rook e1. Now, it's really very difficult to give advice for black. If he captures on f4, the g pawn starts moving, and the problem is not the fact that he is regaining the pawn after capturing on h6. The problem is that whenever this knight moves back, what white is caring for is the pawn on e6, and the strong move and the strong idea in situations like that is to push the g pawn, to soften the e1, eventually to trade on f7, open up the king and start attacking it with queen to h5, or some captures on e6 or even knight e5 ideas. Let's say they take on g6, 96, 96, queen e6, give me that pawn, perhaps knight e5 to defend, but then bishop d4. The e6 square is extremely unpleasant for black, and if queen lands there, I don't really see how can black defend himself. This is the reason why he keeps the bishop on c8, like I mentioned before, but on the other hand, black also needed somehow to develop his pieces, and it wasn't possible to do anything else. Here, by the way, queen d7 would be a mistake because of queen d7. If knight d7, the rook is hanging on h8. If king takes d7, then bishop e5 is winning a piece. Bishop h3 was also winning the exchange, but the piece is a piece. This is more. For that reason, Vashier played the move h5. But the logic says, okay, if you're opening the game, it should be favorable for the side who is better prepared for that. In that particular case, it should be white, as his king is safer. His king is behind the pawns. Well, this one it's also behind the pawns, but at the moment these files are opened, it might get checkmated. And what is Nakamura doing to open it? He sacrifices a piece. Easy. Yesterday, they sacrificed a queen against him. Well, one piece is nothing for Nakamura. Of course, he can sacrifice it. And on the top of that, he calculated very well. He said that he didn't see any risk for him. That's why he went for that sacrifice. But the reality is that knight f5 is such a typical sacrifice that I'm pretty sure that this was the first thing that he calculated in this situation. If black ever accepts the sacrifice, then white is going to capture with the e-pawn, open up the e-file. This is one problem. The other problem is that the knight on f6 cannot stay on its square. Say bishop g2, queen g2. Now the threat is to capture on g5. The other threat is to go bishop d4 and to take it. Once that the knight leaves the f6 square, that one comes from c3 to d5, attacks the queen, the bishop, and the king, and it's going to be game over. For example, g5, rook g8, bishop d4, and on king d8 simply queen d2, giving bishop takes f6 or pawn takes f6, rook g5, bishop takes knight d5. White is regaining the piece and he is going to destroy the opponent. Once the knight comes on f6, rook e8 is a threat, queen takes d6 is a threat, everything is a threat. For that reason, the French grandmaster took on e4 instead of that. He took with the knight from c5 to e4. White recaptured with the bishop, still keeping this knight on c3 and not allowing queen takes c2. Black took back with the knight, as if he captures with the bishop, there will be knight e7, king e7, and f takes g5. He's going to lose a whole piece. And after knight e4, Nakamura played this very important move, which is both attack and defense. It is keeping the knight on c3, and it is not letting this heavy pieces to take the pawn on c2. If now, well, okay, rook g8 more or less force move, and the next move is a very important move into the attack, the capture on e7. Many people will wonder, why would white give such a great knight for the relatively passive bishop on e7? But the reason is that without this bishop, black is feeling very much loose on the dark squares, and we shouldn't forget that whenever there are opposite colored bishops on the board, the attack is multiplied because of that. And the most important thing is which of the bishops is more active. The one which is attacking means already huge advantage for that side. Practically, the side that has the bishop into the attack has an extra piece into it, and they are building the attack on the color of their own bishop. After knight e7, black took back with the king. He wants to keep the queen active, and with tactics to defend this knight on e4. Nakamura took on h5, g takes f4. Just want to mention one line which demonstrates the power of the opposite colored bishop attack is knight c3, bishop c3, and after the capture on f4, h6. Give me pawn promotion. If you notice that one, the pawn is supported by the bishop on the dark square, and black cannot easily block it for that reason. And if e5 to trying to block the bishop, then simply bishop b4 after h7. Give me the pawn on d6. This one is not important at all. And after queen takes a king e1, let's say they're defending on d6, there'll be rook e5. The attack is always on the dark squares. Well, what happened in the game was that black took on f4, then queen h4 check, and the only inaccurate move, if we can call it this way, even though after it white is still much better, is the move that he played in the game, king a1. The idea is to sidestep this in between check on c2, and this also leads to huge advantage for him, but Nakamura could have won much easier if he had transposed the moves with the move h6, and after e5, h7, and only now king to a1, after which black is helpless. Let's say that he captures, knight e4, queen c2 is not coming with a check. If he captures, there is queen to h6 check, and then capture on d6, and so on and so forth, or just check and checkmate after that with knight f6. And if they don't take on e4, on d4, excuse me, if they go knight takes c3, then the familiar opposite colored bishop attack, when this is a threat, and sometimes rook e5 is a threat. And one more line that demonstrates white's ideas is the simple bishop takes a5, and if queen a5, queen takes d6, queen e5, and just takes everything with checkmate. So that was the fastest win, but the move king e1 also led to the win for white after b4. The idea of the move b4 is that if they take it with a b4, there will be e5, and on knight e4, queen takes, bishop takes e4, rook e4, queen c2. White is up a piece, but there are too many things hanging, and black can do perpetual check after say rook e1 check, and perpetual, and save half a point. Instead of this though, Nakamura played a very much stronger move on b4. I just want to mention that instead of the move b4, black should have gone for the move queen to e7, sacrificing the piece. Nakamura didn't want to take that piece, and he would have played queen f4, and that's the right move. After queen g5, rook e4, queen takes f4, rook f4, e5, and rook f1, black is suffering. Maybe he can survive this, maybe not. It's not quite sure. He's down a pawn, but well, that was the right way for him to go. That was the right thing to go. The bishop is sometimes saving black in situations like that. The bishop is a very strong piece. The move b4 made things easier for white, and he took on e4, and this is exactly his idea. Queen c2 is not coming with a check. It's pretty much the only move anyway. And then after rook e1, white is up a piece, and his king is well defended by his bishop and his queen. Vachier tried to completely clear the road for his pieces, but unfortunately he is always one move at least too short in his attack. He, for example, doesn't have time to play rook c4 because there will be check and checkmate after that on d8, and that's why he tried rook g5, another checkmate idea from a5, but then again it is white who starts the checks first, and he's winning after queen d6, king g8, rook g1, painting that important and strong rook, queen a4, and bishop a3. The endgame is probably also won, but this is way more convincing. After rook g1, it is white who is attacking and who is delivering checkmate. King h6, a nice little move to finish the game. They obviously cannot capture it because of the checkmate, which means that black needs to strip his king. The pawn behind which this king was hiding is no longer there, and white is winning with a simple retreat, rook g1. After f5, queen f3 check, black resigned. He's either losing the queen or he's getting checkmated. So Nakamura is back into the contest with this important win. He is black, he has +2, and at the time at which I'm producing this video, there is still one game in progress. It is Anish Giri trying to win with the white piece against Vasilin Topalov. All the other games already draw, so 2 more rounds, and we will see if Mr. Wesley So is going to keep his lead. See you next time.